to questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I agree with my colleague from Texas. It is a tale of two cities. Secretary Noem, Trump administration, you're going after the worst of the worst criminals, and we agree with you. The problem is 70% of the people you've arrested have no criminal record.
This exchange between Congressman Lou Correa and DHS Secretary Kristi Noem wasn't just about slogans or talking points. It was about real families, real veterans, real American citizens, and a system that seems increasingly detached from reality.
You're going after non-criminal immigrants, U.S. citizens, and permanent legal residents. Donna Hughes Brown, Irish citizen, green card holder, 48 years in the United States. She also happens to be the mother of a U.S. Marine, sister to a retired Army colonel. She's in ICE detention since July. She tried to come back from Ireland, arrested, has been there since then. Her crime? She wrote 2 bad checks for less than $80 a decade ago. You arrested her, she's in custody. Her husband, Jim Brown, came to us and told us her story. Jim told us, I voted for President Trump because he promised to go after criminals in our community and not people like my wife. If I can, I'd like to play a video for you. Then he also voted for President Trump.
Yes, sir.
Why did you vote for him?
Because I was an idiot. 80% of the evangelical Christian people were lied to, if you really want to know the truth, and that's exactly what happened. They said criminal, and I believe criminals need to be off the street.
I just want to make sure people watching this understand who you are.
My wife and I, when we don't work, we're ministers. We help the needy. That's what we do. And that's who they're arresting.
Now, we've got Mr. Jim Brown before you. He's standing up. Hopefully you can talk to him a little bit. These people, Donna Hughes Brown, are not the individuals that should be deported. Another case, Narciso Barranco was beaten and arrested by masked agents while working as a landscaper. He's an undocumented immigrant, 30 years in this country, not a traffic ticket. Mr. Barranco is also the father of 3 U.S. Marines. 3 Marines. You want to make a movie of people like this. A man who comes to this country, instills patriotism in his kids. They swear an oath to serve and possibly give up their life for this country. We'll play a video on this as well, please.
Masked federal agents were filmed pinning a man to the ground and repeatedly striking him in the head and neck before putting him in an unmarked car. The man in the video has been identified as Narciso Barranco and is the father of 2 active duty Marines and 1 Marine veteran. The Department of Homeland Security said an illegal alien was arrested by Border Patrol agents after he, quote, assaulted federal law enforcement, adding that Barranco, quote, swung a weed whacker directly at an agent's face. Video shared by DHS and reviewed by CNN shows Barranco running with a weed whacker, but does not show him striking officers.
I also have with us today Alex Barranco behind you, a retired Marine. That's his father. And Alex, on behalf of myself, members here, I want to thank you for your service to our country, and we also thank your brothers for serving our great country. Thank you very much. Got another case. George Rete, 25-year-old, native of California, my home state. He's a U.S. citizen, Army veteran who served in Iraq. Well, on his way to work, he came to an immigration checkpoint. pulled over. I don't know where officers deployed tear gas on him, broke his car window, pepper sprayed him, and dragged him out of his car. An American citizen held for 72 hours without any charges, wasn't even given the opportunity to shower, to wash off that paper
Gentleman's
spray.
time's expired. I now recognize the gentleman from Mississippi, Mr. Guest.
Mr. Chairman, I have 2 articles I'd like to present for the record.
Unanimous consent.
Under President Trump, an agency intended to keep Americans safe has diverted resources from child abuse, trafficking, and terrorism to immigration enforcement. Second is this letter from my Orange County Sheriff, Don Barnes, essentially talking about all the individuals under Prop 50 referred to ICE 2025 year to date. 50 of them.
Without objection.
ICE never showed up to pick them up.
Without
Mr.
objection.
Chairman.
I will
Mr. Chairman.
entertain. UCs at the end of the hearing. I want to entertain all UC motions at the end of the hearing. We have witnesses. I want to make sure everybody has time. So if we do this now, we do have a witness has to leave. You're just going to be taking time from other members. But I will.
This is where this hearing stops being just another clip for social media and starts becoming something much heavier. Because what Congressman Correa laid out wasn't just a policy failure. It was a moral one. What we're watching unfold isn't law and order. It's enforcement without judgment. It's power without proportionality. It's a system that has decided that speed, optics, and numbers matter more than fairness, more than context, and more than basic human dignity. Because once you start locking up a Marine's mother over 2 bad checks from a decade ago, the word criminal loses all meaning. Once you start violently arresting a landscaper whose 3 sons wore the uniform of this country, patriotism becomes hollow. Once you tear gas, pepper spray, and detain a U.S. citizen and Iraq war veteran for 3 days without charges, the Constitution stops being a guarantee and starts becoming a suggestion. And that's the part people really need to sit with. This isn't about immigration anymore. It's about who gets protected by the system and who gets crushed by it. What makes this moment so powerful is that these stories don't fit into the neat boxes politicians love to use. These aren't anonymous people. These aren't faceless statistics. These are families who did everything they were told to do. They worked. They served. They raised children who put their lives on the line for this country. And still, the system came for them. And when you hear Jim Brown, someone who voted for Trump, someone who believed the rhetoric, stand up and say, "I was lied to," that's not just regret. That's betrayal. That's what happens when fear-based politics meets real life. Because it turns out, when you build a system designed to be harsh, it doesn't magically stop at the bad people. It keeps going. It widens. It sweeps up anyone unlucky enough to cross its path. And the administration's response to all of this: deflection, silence, justification after the fact. No acknowledgement of harm. No admission of overreach. No accountability. And that should concern everyone, regardless of where you fall politically. Because if the government can do this to military families today, it can do it to anyone tomorrow. This hearing exposed something uncomfortable, that we've normalized a level of force and cruelty that would have shocked people just a few years ago. Masked agents, unmarked vehicles, detentions without charges, all justified under the vague banner of security. That's not strength. That's not safety. That's a warning sign. And the most dangerous part is how easy it is for people to shrug and say, "Well, that doesn't affect me." Until it does. Until it's your neighbor, your coworker, your family member. Correa didn't just challenge Kristi Noem, he challenged the country to decide what kind of values actually matter. Whether service means something, whether citizenship means something, whether rights only apply when they're convenient. Because a nation that claims to honor its veterans while brutalizing their families is a nation in deep contradiction with itself. And if Congress doesn't keep pressing on this, if these stories fade into the news cycle and disappear, The message becomes clear. That power can operate without consequence, and that ordinary people are expected to just accept it. That's why moments like this hearing matter. That's why these names matter. That's why these stories matter. They force the truth into the open, where it can't be spun away with slogans. As always, thanks for watching. If you found this video interesting, hit that like button, subscribe for more content like this, and we'll see you next time.